Cryptopsy's none so vile. None so vile. Hey, what's up, metalheads? The Strong Boys 19 here, and I just like to do that weird scream at the beginning because that's just basically how I feel when I listened to this album that I'm going to be reviewing. So yeah, we're back into the Cryptopsy discography, and for today's review, I'm going to be reviewing None So Vile. Now, None So Vile is their second album, and it came out on July the 3rd, 1996, and it is the follow-up to their awesome debut, Blasphemy Made Flesh. Now, it has 8 tracks. Wrong Again Records is the label for this album, and it is over 32 minutes long. So, for me, basically, this is the album that really got me into Cryptopsy, because, you know, since a lot of other reviewers reviewed Cryptopsy's new album, and a lot of the fans considered None So Vile as, you know, their best and their most favourite, I decided to check out the album, and when I listened to the first track of this album called Crown of Horns, at the exact beginning, my jaw just completely dropped. Like that. And I was just really surprised by it. And, you know, this album is basically the same as Blasphemy Made Flesh in every way, but from when I listen to these songs on this album, I think there are more brutal and, you know, more heavy and satanic than Blasphemy Made Flesh. It's my honest opinion, and I guess a lot of you guys might just agree that this is Cryptopsy's best, and this is basically my favourite Cryptopsy album, and this is the first album to have Eric, the bass guitarist, and this is the last album to have Lord Worm, and he left the band after this album came out until he came back with the band in the album Once Was Not, which came out in the mid-2000s. So yeah, I also really love the album artwork. I mean, just look at that album artwork. It's really well done and really iconic. And when you look at the album cover, you will know who made this album by looking at the band logo, which is just the technical death metal legends themselves, Cryptopsy. And the album is basically, you know, like I said, like Blasphemy Made Flesh, and I think there are more brutal elements on this album between the creativity and the whole music itself. And you know, when you listen to Crown of Horns, the song begins with the sample of The Exorcist 3 Legion, and the last track, Orgastic Disembowelment, ends with the sample of Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness. And I didn't know that Cryptopsy included these two samples from this album. So I think that's just really cool because when I listen to these brutal metal bands, a lot of them just begin with these weird samples. For examples like the songs from Skinless and some others. So yeah, Lord Worm's vocals on this album are really more stronger and more powerful, and his guttural growls are even just more deeper than what he did in Blasphemy Made Flesh, and he did a really good job by doing these vocals, really that low in a really low demon type of octave. And the guitars from John are just really cool, and they're just really aggressive, fast-paced, with a lot of really fast riffs, and there's also some different really cool guitar solos added into the brutality of the music, and they're just really thick sounding, and it just sounds really perfect. And the bass guitar work from Eric is also just fast-paced and aggressive, and I love the sounds of the bass guitar on this one more than Blasphemy Made Flesh. I think the bass guitar sounds even more thick and more better. In my honest opinion, Flo's drumming is still going really fast-paced and just really quick, and he always drums different beats really quickly in every Cryptopsy song, and he's just a fantastic drummer, and he did some pieces of some backing vocals as well. And there are two other people that did backing vocals on this album, and there are Eric Fisset or Fisset, whatever, and Steve Thibault. I believe that's how I pronounce it right. If not, I apologize. I can't pronounce these words correctly at times. So yeah, they did great jobs by doing these brutal vocals on the album. So yeah, everything from the music, the vocals with the low growls and the high screams, and just everything from the tracks on this album basically points out that Cryptopsy is going even more, I should say, even more powerful and stronger in this album. And I'll have to say that this is basically my honest opinion, Cryptopsy's strongest, brutalist metal album that they had done since Blasphemy Made Flesh. So, yeah, I highly recommend this album. You should definitely check out this album, and I just loved a lot of these things on the album, and it's just, like Blasphemy Made Flesh, just non-stop brutality with the awesome, brutal riffs and fast drumming and excellent death vocals, etc. And the whole album is produced by Pierre Remelard. I believe that's how I pronounce it right. And also Cryptopsy once again. I think they're the executive producers on the album. I don't really know. But yeah, that's just basically what I've got to say about None So Vile by Cryptopsy. And I just really wish that Cryptopsy's music will be just like this album, but that just didn't happen, sadly. But that's just the way it goes throughout their entire career. So, yep, I'm going to give Not So Vile by Cryptopsy a 10 out of 10. So, yep, thanks for watching, and we will always stay, metal and brutal for the metal music that we listen to. So, yep, keep it metal, guys.